Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. President Bola Tinubu has arrived St. Lucia for a state visit. The Nigerian presidential airplane landed in Vieux Fort on Saturday at about 5:30 p.m. local time, which is 10:30 p.m. Nigerian time. President Tinubu was received on arrival at the Hewa-Nora International Airports by the Governor General and the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, followed by a welcome ceremony. Presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga stated earlier that the Nigerian leader's visit to the country is part of efforts to deepen Nigeria's engagements with Caribbean nations and strengthen South-South cooperation. During the visit to St. Lucia, President Tinubu is scheduled to pay courtesy calls on the Governor General, Cyril Errol Charles, and Prime Minister Philip Pierre. He is also expected to address the special joint session of the Senate and House of Assembly of St. Lucia at the William Jefferson Clinton Ballroom, Sandals Grand Gros Isle. Discussions between the two countries will focus on specific parameters to deepen cooperation between Nigeria and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States for shared prosperity through economic partnerships and cultural solidarity. The presidential advisor also added that the president's visit underscores Nigeria's commitment to strengthening diplomatic and economic relations with Caribbean states, especially within the African Union's 6th regional framework, which recognizes the African diaspora as an essential partner in the continent's development. At the end of the visit to the island states, President Tinubu will proceed to Brazil to participate in the 17th summit of BRICS in Rio de Janeiro. Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria will embark on massive tree planting as part of the National Afforestation Environmental Sustainability Drive. He stated this after touring multiple agricultural and industrial facilities in Ethiopia. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This state visit of the agricultural and industrial tour in Adama, a city in East Shewa Zone, 99 kilometers southeast Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital. Ethiopia is a success story worthy of emulation and a pathfinder for Africa's renaissance. The initiative draws stronger inspiration from Ethiopia's Green Legacy Programme, which he described as a model for combining climate action with economic opportunity.
We intend to plant 20 billion trees in the next rainy season, but it requires a lot of planning, it requires a lot of energy and drive, which Ethiopia was able to successfully galvanize the population. And greater credit goes to the Prime Minister. When a fish starts getting rotten, it starts from the head. And when the head is good, the rest of the body tends to be good. I think the President of Ethiopia, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, is a game changer, is a phenomenal leader, one of the best that the continent has ever produced.
The Vice President's tour included visits to Adama Dairy Farms, Luke Avocado Nursery, Shera Dibandiva Mojo Family Integrated Farm, Bio Poultry Farm, and Bishoftu Pier Farms, as part of efforts to strengthen bilateral ties in agricultural and industrial development.
If Nigeria and Ethiopia works, Africa will work. Jointly, the two of us constitute over 350 million people, more than the population of the United States. If Nigeria functions, because the trajectory of global growth is facing Africa, and Nigeria and Ethiopia will make or mar that destination. We are the youngest continent. The average age of the Nigerian nation is 17. And I believe the average age of the Ethiopian nation may equally be hovering around that figure. So we have to make these two countries work.
Why we came here so that we can go and let him know, and I believe that he will replicate it in a much more stronger, bolder scope than what we are seeing in Ethiopia today. He's very much interested in the diversification of the Nigerian economy, enhancement of exports, lines, just not concentration on oil and gas alone. So avocado is one of them. And prior to our coming here, there's been Mr. President and the Vice President have shown very strong interest in avocado, among other economic trees.
Central to the visit was the official launch of Ethiopia's Green Legacy Initiative, which the Nigerian Vice President described as a win-win for all, saying the program combines environmental restoration with job creation. From Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Now back here, the federal government has declared a state of emergency on 2 sections of the Suleja-Minna Federal Highway. Inspecting ongoing construction work on the federal roads along the Kaduna and Niger States axis, Minister of Works David Umahi announced the termination of the contract for the Suleja-Minna Road for an emergency procurement process within 10 days to recommence work. Kenneth Nanim reports.
The Suleja-Minna Dual Carriage Highway was initially awarded to Salini Nigeria Limited in 2015 under the NNPC Tax Credit Scheme. Between 2015 and now, this is what the roads have become for commuters. Works Minister David Umahi says the federal government, having funded the project, has in the last 18 months been on the neck of the contractor to return to site and rework the failed parts of the roads, but to no avail. Now, major parts of the 2 sections of the roads have failed completely, while other parts are in deplorable conditions, causing delay of vehicular movement and all sorts of obstructions on the highway. At this point, the termination of the contract makes it clear that negotiations are over.
Some people are going around, lobbying for Salini to continue the project. That is wickedness, because people will not continue to suffer like this. And I've directed my ministry to scope out, a section of the road equal to what they're owing us and let them do it. Let them stop running up and down. This is irrevocably terminated. And Nigerians will see the reason why we terminated it.
Considering the dual carriageway as strategic to economic viability on the corridors of the northwest region of the country, Works Minister David Umahi explains constant loss of lives and property of road users as other reasons to ensure that the roads are reconstructed under emergency procurement procedures, while acknowledging efforts by the Niger State government in sustaining the project. The minister also explains efforts to ensure that quality work that can stand the test of time is delivered to Nigerians.
The last stone base before the asphalt is treated with cement, 3.5% cement. And that ensures that the water will not go down to destroy the road. Any road built by the president, whether it is asphalt, you must give it 20 years. And if it is concrete, you give it 100 years.
A chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Segun Sowunmi, was at the entourage of the Works Minister to see the ongoing road projects for himself. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention to health matters now. Major investments and policy reforms in the Nigerian health sector have attracted global commendation and enhanced levels of partnership and external investment finance into the country. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, stated this on the sidelines of the European Union's Global Summit in Brussels, Belgium, during an engagement with heads of state, ministers and CEOs of major multilateral institutions.
Acknowledging the imperative for countries to localize manufacturing capacities in their own borders of some of these commodities. And Nigeria's effort to unlock the healthcare value chain fits squarely in that direction. Our resources, the investments that the government of President Tinubu is making in health and other sectors as a consequence of the major macro-fiscal reforms that have been undertaken I think are really being acknowledged and very timely.
The coordinating minister stated that President Bola Tinubu, who doubles as the African Union champion for health, is leading a resurgence of foreign investment in Africa across multiple sectors, with the health sector now constituting a foremost frontier of new investor interest in Africa's largest market. Meanwhile, President Tinubu's health sector renewal initiative is getting a boost with the establishment of a state-of-the-art microbiology and hematology laboratory in Bauchi. The laboratory, facilitated by Nigeria LNG, aims to tackle growing health threats like Lassa fever, cholera and diphtheria. Bulak Afsa reports.
This newly established laboratory at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital is expected to play a crucial role in the diagnosis and treatment in advanced procedure for diagnosis and treatment of both communicable and non-communicable diseases. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Yusuf Jibril Bara, said the laboratory provision will help in the areas of increased surveillance and ensure early detection and timely response to outbreaks.
It will assist us in having a very quick diagnosis and also reducing the time being waited by patients. And the hope we have in this kind of intervention is to see that diseases are being managed as they come.
This project will go a long way in touching, if not changing, the life of people, the patient that will be visiting this hospital.
It is a true investment in humanity.
In a message, the Managing Director of Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, Philip Michel Bila, said the laboratory is a complement to the federal government's healthcare enhancement initiative.
As an organization, we are really committed to sustainably ensuring that lives are saved. And it's for that reason that we've commissioned this project today.
The laboratory project is a commitment to shared vision with the federal government for a better healthcare service delivery. In Bauchi, Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
In another development, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has organized a free relief medical outreach and distributed various food items to Yelwata community. The CDS was represented by his wife, President of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, the POA, Ogogo Musa. Charles Aber reports.
The recent unprovoked attack on Yelwata community has left the residents with hunger, psychological trauma, and even illness. They are gathered here expectantly in their thousands. The intervention of the Chief of Defense Staff is apt. Assorted food and non-food items and free medical services are being delivered to them. The medical teams are up and doing to ensure the checks and drug prescriptions are professionally delivered. The beneficiaries heave a sigh of relief.
The Chief of Defense Staff, I really appreciate him because when this thing happened, he is here with us always. So we really appreciate what he's bring to us now.
In fact, what he did here, we'll never forget him.
Chief of Defense Civil Military Relations, Rear Admiral Olusoya Bankole, emphasized peace as a panacea to development in any society.
The military is indeed part of them. We share in their burdens. But he always emphasizes that if there is peace, we won't need all this.
The words of the Chief of Defense Staff, delivered to the people by his wife, Lillian Ogogo Musa, are of confidence, assurances, and courage.
We want to reassure you that you are not alone and not forgotten. We have come to visit you because we share in your pain.
The wife of the CDS also visited the displaced people at the Makudi International Market and the injured members of the community in the hospital, where she also reached out to them. From Yelwata, Goma Local Government Area, Benue State, Charles Abba, NTA News.
In other news, experts lament that youth work in Nigeria lacks specific qualifications and professional competence, leading to disruptive consequences that undermine youth development efforts. To address this, the federal government is pushing to upskill youth work practice to advance effective and sustainable youth developments in the country. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Youth workers are frontline mentors, compassionate guides, and tireless advocates.
Globally, available specialized courses specific to youth work are increasingly faced with challenges of rationalization, restructuring, or even integration as a subfield of social science disciplines. The matter is further complicated by the absence of relevant courses that attend to academic demands of youth work that could serve as training ground for servicing the endeavor.
Where there is no critical competency framework for driving a work, anything goes.
We want to make sure that we close the gap. Domesticate whatever we are doing here.
This conference is a deliverable outcome of a meeting that was held in Maiduguri.
And since youth workers are not just facilitators, but the engine room of the nation's future, the first order of business is the need to prioritize workforce development and upgrade the status of youth work.
To get the best of this out of our youth, we must find a means to give those who serve them the best training and support.
The era of working with young people without knowledge and capacity is over.
In order to actualize this goal, the Federal Ministry of Youth Development has entered into collaboration with the University of Abuja to introduce programs on youth development work. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Let's now cross over to our Lagos Network Center, where Awal will give us the next set of reports. Hello, Awal.
And I'm glad to have you join us in the Center of Excellence. Efforts by the Nigerian police force to combat crime through strategic partnerships, intelligence-led policing, and community engagement is yielding results. In line with this, the police have successfully smashed a gang of fuel tanker hijackers in Lagos. Adejoke Odeka completes the story.
The Lagos State Police Command has successfully dismantled a notorious gang of fuel and goods hijackers. The driver of the hijacked tanker reported the incident to the Surulere Police Division, where crack detectives and special operatives swiftly responded and commenced investigation.
They wear uniform. Now I make us wait for them. Now that uniform we see, let us stop for them.
Following investigations, the police apprehended 7 suspects at a filling station in Ejigbo area of Lagos in connection with the hijack of a tanker loaded with 45,000 litres of petrol.
The tanker was dropped off empty in Orile area of Lagos State. So we've been able to reconstruct the crime. So after they hijacked the vehicle, they brought it here, dropped the contents here, then took the tanker to Orile, dropped it off. Then in the early hours of this morning, they came with their own tanker to lift the PMS. In the coming days, we hope to conclude this investigation and charge them to court.
The Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, while commending the operatives for a diligent job, has also assured Lagos residents of the commitment of the police to ensuring adequate safety of lives and property. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
If consumers stop patronizing substandard products, manufacturers will stop producing low-quality materials. This was the submission of speakers at a sensitization forum aimed at addressing challenges of substandard roofing sheets and their effects on lives and property in Lagos. Diana Ajale tells us more.
A building without a roof, despite its design, shape or size, is an incomplete structure. So, it is important that quality roofing sheets are used, particularly in the current era of climate crisis, where weather events can be quite extreme and unpredictable. Roofing sheet manufacturers, architects, building engineers and other stakeholders in this meeting are interacting to amplify education on the benefits of standard roofing sheets.
We want all manufacturers in Nigeria to ensure
they produce quality products. We will assess them, test them, and check that the product conforms to the Nigerian industrial standard requirements.
Federal government is committed. Experts give additional insight into the necessity for appropriate roofing sheets that can withstand various weather conditions.
Every person you buy your roofing sheets from should have basic test materials. One of those test materials, very importantly, should be a micrometer screw gauge.
If you say you are manufacturing iron rods, and the iron rods you put on it 18 mm, but when they put the failure caliper that is correct on it to check it is 16.5. So if they use that to plan for a building, the strength of the material will not be able to carry the load, and then that's why we have building collapse.
Other issues discussed at the program include methodology leeway to industrial growth and conducive environment for manufacturers to thrive. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with Jenny in Port Harcourt after this break.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. Skills acquisition and utilization by youth is contributing significantly to the macroeconomic dynamics and closing the gap of unemployment in Nigeria. Robinson Darataide in this report x-rays the importance of skills acquisition among youths as a means of complementing formal education.
In many countries, skill acquisition has emerged as a vital tool for empowering young people to achieve financial independence and contributing meaningfully to society. With limited white-collar jobs, the focus on equipping youths with practical skills has become increasingly crucial for fostering economic growth and social stability.
Depending on white-collar jobs is not, to me, I don't fancy it, I don't like it, because what this job is paying me, if I go to any government organization or parastatal to work, they cannot pay me what this work is paying me.
Whatever you find your hand doing, do it very well. There is nothing on earth as far as handwork is concerned that God will not bless you through it.
In recent times, there has hardly been any major street in Port Harcourt where small-scale skilled businesses like tailoring and furniture making could not be found, confirming that the campaign for skill acquisition is gaining momentum even among graduates.
Even if you're a graduate, you can create a job by yourself. I create this one, because there's a job everywhere, but it depends on the one you want.
Like as I am now, I'm a graduate. So after many years of searching for a job, I went into skill. Learned a skill, and today is helping me. So this very work we are doing is very lucrative.
Experts emphasize that acquiring relevant skills can significantly reduce criminal activities among young populations and boost their confidence for leadership roles. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Daratede, NTA News.
General Officer Commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army Major General Emmanuel Emeka has presented awards to the winners of the Chief of Army Staff Literary Competition 2025. The JOC commended the pupils of Command Children's School Port Harcourt Barracks and GRA Port Harcourt for the giant strides in making their schools proud. Diva Barisido Mawiki reports.
The Chief of Army Staff Literary Competition is organized to enhance reading skills and bring out the best in pupils of Nigerian Army schools.
I appreciate them. Firstly, the teachers for doing a wonderful job. It's not easy to teach children of this age. And then for the children to start knowing how to put their thoughts together in a competition like this. And like I mentioned, ordinarily I would have done this presentation in my office, but I choose to come to the school so that their colleagues can see them and be motivated. So it's a good input from the students. I want to congratulate them and pray that they will continue to improve on this skill that they have started developing.
Head teachers of the schools appreciated the Chief of Army Staff for creating a platform for promoting quality education.
You teach that there is a reward for hard work. Your presence here is signifies your commitment to improve education standard in Nigeria. The school has consistently maintained good academic profile, both internal and external examinations.
General Officer Commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Emmanuel Emeka, commended the commitment of the parents and teachers in bringing out the best in the pupils.
If you are happy and you know you clap your hands.
In Port Harcourt, Dibabari Sidomaweke, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Port Harcourt. Nationwide continues with Dennis in Abuja.
Many thanks, Jenny. Now, the unity of thoughts as a policy will continue to upgrade the quality of operations of the Nigerian Army as it marches into the future with improved training, acquisition of modern equipment, and enhanced operational and administrative processes. This is coming from the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, who outlined some plans during the Jumat and Interdenominational Church service, heralding the annual Nigerian Army Day celebration in Abuja. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
It's another 365 days, and for the Nigerian Army, it's been 162 years of selfless and dedicated service to the country. Tracing its roots back to the West African Frontier Force, a British colonial force established in 1897, the Nigerian Army has evolved into a professional army ready to accomplish assigned missions within a joint environment in defense of Nigeria. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, says, together we will rebuild the spirit of this army, not just with weapons, but with dignity and welfare taking center stage.
We make our prayers through Christ our Lord.
I would like to tell all Nigerians that they should have hope. You know, Nigerian Army belongs to all Nigerians, and security is for all. So we expect them to give us their maximum support so that we can do our jobs better.
Earlier, a Jumat prayers was held at the Mambila Barracks, where the Imam's voice echoed through the mosque, waving verses of peace and strength. They had seen wars, they had buried comrades, written letters to mothers and consoled widows, and now, in this fragile silence, they held a different weapon, vision.
This Juma service provides us with a platform to pray for the Almighty to continue to guard, protect the Chief of Army Staff, as well as officers and men of the Nigerian Army.
The Nigerian Army reaffirms its commitment to upholding its core values and preserving the nation's rich heritage, ensuring its legacy endures for generations to come. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Defense Headquarters is restructuring Operation Delta Safe and other ongoing security operations in the Niger Delta region to enhance accountability, transparency, and swift responses to security challenges. Deputy Director, Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Mohammed Abu Mawashi announced this during a military diplomacy campaign tour to communities and cultural groups in Rivers State.
Commanders are under strict instructions to maintain professional conduct and respect for human rights. Any security agent or any government agent found aiding oil theft will be prosecuted. This is a renewed military that is people-focused and justice-oriented. We want to hear from you and incorporate your solutions into our operations.
While in Degama, Awada East and Eleme, the Deputy Director Defense Media Operations stressed the need for enhanced intelligence sharing between communities and security agencies to facilitate proactive operations.
See, without the people, take note of this, you are the eyes and ears of the nation. Our youths must reject being used by oil thieves or warlords. There is dignity in hard work. Our traditional rulers are left them behind. They must continue to champion peace, dialogue, and cultural values that promote unity. Let us work together to stop pollution that is destroying your land and future.
Defense correspondent Ismail Musa, who has been on the security tour, reports that a similar tour was carried out across the other geopolitical zones of the country. And all hands are on deck as the Nigerian Navy hosts the second Quarter Defense and Services Transformation Seminar with a call to march forward against insecurity in the nation. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
In his remarks delivered by the Chief of Policy and Plans, the Chief of the Naval Staff emphasized the importance of transforming the Nigerian military through leveraging lessons learned to always mitigate the evolving security challenges facing the country.
The seminar's focus on adaptability and innovation is also in line with the Chief of Defense Staff's shared vision to entrench a proactive defense culture across the services. It emphasizes the need for institutional learning and doctrinal evolution that will drive the transformation of the armed forces of Nigeria.
Data available from the last 2 years suggests conflict, displacement, banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism form the core security challenges in Nigeria. This seminar is a response to government directive and efforts at overcoming these threats. It is expected that the outcome of the 2-day seminar will inform policy decisions and shape the future of defense in Nigeria. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
Let's now join Abubakar in our Maiduguri Network Center for the next reports. Hello, Abubakar. It's over to you.
Always good to see you, Dennis, and thank you for joining us. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum and his Yobe State counterpart Maimala Buni applaud federal government's renewed commitment to tackling insurgency in the northeast region. This commendation came to the fore at a multi-sector conference on countering extremist ideology, insurgency and terrorism in the northeast. Tina Toro reports that the event also featured unveiling of books titled Taking a Stand Against Insurgency and Terrorism, among others, written by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa.
The occasion had in attendance the Governor of Borno and Yobe State, Shehu of Borno, Shehu of Bama, Chief of Defense Staff, security operatives, among others. The conference had the theme Countering Extremist Ideology and Insurgency and Terrorism among youth and students within Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, and the nation at large. While launching the book, representative of the Yobe State Governor, Brigadier General Dahiru Abdusalam, retired Special Advisor on Security Matters, urged youths to go through the book, emphasizing its importance in tackling the issue of insecurity. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, represented by his Special Advisor on Security, Brigadier General Ishaq Abdullahi, commended the organizers of the event and urged the youths to learn from the book, commending the Chief of Defense Staff for his efforts in fighting insurgency. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, appreciated Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum and his Yobe State counterpart for their support to the security infrastructure in the sub-region.
We realize that the kinetic effort provides only about 30% of the solution. The non-kinetic effort does a lot, and youths play a major role in that non-kinetic effort, and that's why we have this event today.
The organizers, Kaltum Mohammed Rabiu, Bulama Abiso of Network for Civil Society Organizations, and the President of Borno Youth Parliament all spoke on the importance of the event. Other participants who spoke at the event include the representative of Speaker of House of Assembly and the Commissioner of Police, who called on youth to use the opportunity to take advantage of the conference to widen their horizon. In Maiduguri, Tina Toro, NTA News.
Nasarawa State government delegation who are in Maiduguri to understudy the Borno State Education Trust Fund model commend Governor Babagana Umar Zulum's foresight in its establishment, describing the initiative as instrumental to the revival of Borno's education sector. Harris Murjana to Hassan with the rest of the story.
During their visit, the team met with the Executive Secretary of Borno State ETF, Dr. Yomi
Speaker Borno State House of Assembly Abdulkarim Lawan and Commissioner for Education Lawan Abo Kilbe, Dr. Yomi commended Governor Babagana Umar Zulum's leadership and the Borno State House of Assembly for establishing the ETF, which has recorded significant achievement in short periods. The team visited various projects constructed by ETF board in several schools across the state, including Shehu Garba Primary School, Federal Government Girls College Munguno, and Federal Government College Maiduguri. The Speaker, Abdulkarim Lawan, noted that the establishment of the ETF is part of Governor Zulum's 25-year development plan, while the Commissioner for Education emphasized the need for sacrifice, commitment, and collaborative support from all stakeholders to establish a successful education trust fund.
Whenever you have other states coming to see what you are doing, it means you are doing the right thing.
He has achieved in terms of construction the primary school, secondary school, even tertiary institution in the state. He has done wonderfully, and also he has sent so many of our children to various countries to study.
Nasarawa State delegation expressed gratitude for the warm reception and pledged to present their findings and recommendations to their governor. They lauded Governor Zulum's transformative governance and its impact on the citizens of Borno State. Dr. Yomi presented documents to Adamu that Nasarawa State in establishing its own ETF board. The study tour has equipped the Nasarawa State team with invaluable knowledge on the operational guidelines of the trust fund, and they are poised to replicate Borno's success in their own state. Maiduguri, Rijana to Hassan, NTA News.
This is nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Salamatu in Kaduna has the next set of reports for us, but that will be right.
Watching nationwide, and thanks for staying tuned. You're welcome to Kaduna. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Kaduna State Command, says it has seized 3,059 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs within first quarter of the year 2025. The State Commander, Muhammad Tukur, made this known while briefing journalists as part of activities marking the 2025 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Kim Worth reports.
Addressing journalists, the Kaduna State Commander of the NDLEA, Mohammed Tukur, disclosed that between July 2024 and June 2025, the command, leveraging its drug supply and demand reduction strategy, apprehended 1,211 drug suspects. Out of these, 187 were convicted and sentenced to various jail terms ranging from 2 to 10 years.
The seizures include cannabis sativa, 1,893 kilograms, cocaine, 325 grams, heroin, 9 grams, methamphetamine, 595 grams, tramadol, 319 kilograms, and psychotropics, 855 kilograms, respectively.
In a related development aimed at enhancing national security, Commander Tukur also confirmed the interception of arms and ammunition, further underscoring the agency's role in tackling criminal activities linked to drug trafficking. The 2025 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, with the theme, "The Evidence is Clear, Invest in Prevention," provided a strategic platform for awareness campaigns, stakeholders' engagement, and community outreach. The event featured a road walk by officers and men of the command aimed at reinforcing the message of prevention. In Kaduna, Kim Gortz, NTA News.
As part of efforts to address economic challenges widows face within their communities, an advocacy group in Katsina State is empowering widows in entrepreneurship skills to be self-sustained. Suleiman Kodogi completes this report.
In many parts of the world, widows are subjected to so many harmful practices ranging from eviction, inheritance denial, and economic disempowerment. An advocacy group is giving up to widows in Katsina State by assisting them to build their resilience and restore their dignity. Zara Salam, a 30-year-old widow who lost her husband to bandits, is among those empowered. She shares her experience.
Before now, we are managing to feed in my family. But thank God for this empowerment.
Once the husband dies, a lot of challenges, both physical and emotional challenges. Some of them are denied access to their husband's properties.
We want every widow here to be doing something.
Other speakers advocate the implementation of the relevant laws that protect widows from all forms of discrimination and the injustice they go through. In Katsina, Suleiman Kodogi, NTA News.
That completes our package from here. More reports with Dennis Adegunoye in our Abuja studios.
Thanks very much, Salamatu. Now, through her compassion, empathy, and generosity, First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has demonstrated the true spirit of a mother to all. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf said this when he received a delegation sent to the state to convey the First Lady's condolences and support to the families of the 22 athletes who lost their lives in a motor accident. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
It is another message of goodwill and generosity delivered by the wife of the Deputy President of the Senate, Laila Barrow Jibrin, from the Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu. Support to the families of the 22 Kano athletes who died while on their way back from the National Sports Festival in Abuja. The 110 million naira assistance is accompanied by prayers for the repose of their souls and message of hope to the bereaved. This, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf noted, is another indication that Mrs. Tinubu represents a caring mother for all Nigerians. He cited her numerous support to the vulnerable groups in Kano, including 200,000 naira each to 250 elderly women and 50,000 naira each to 500 smallholder women farmers.
She equally donated food items to so many women across the 44 local governments, all within the last 1 year.
Governor Yusuf also thanked other donors, including those who supported the Farm Center GSM market victims, especially the Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin. Prayers were offered for the deported athletes and late business icon Aminu Al-Hassan Dantata. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And the three-day Fidal prayer has been held for the late broadcaster Hawa Yusuf Funtua at her family home in Abuja. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports that it was a sober moment for family members, friends and colleagues who describe her as an exceptional personality and will be greatly missed.
Development and Cooperation Investment Office in London, just commissioned by the state governor, aimed at diversifying from the state economy in oil and gas sector to other sectors. From London,
the death of Hajia Hawa Yusuf Funtua, a former staff of the Nigerian Television Authority NTA, was a blow to many. And today, loved ones gathered at her Abuja residence to remember and pray for the repose of her soul.
She came from London with her 2 children, and she went around and greeted all of us as if she came to say bye-bye to us.
Very kind woman, very, very kind woman. The family is definitely regretting losing her.
She was so full of life. We lost a gem.
She is beautiful in her ways. She reasons in everything she does.
Hawa Yusuf Funtua was not just a professional colleague. She was family. She was a mobilizer in the newsroom. She was always there for everyone.
She just gels with everybody. She has no, as long as she was concerned, God rest her soul, she had no enemies.
We are going to miss her. We will miss her. May Allah grant her soul eternal rest and Jannatul Firdaus.
The late broadcaster and head of the then NTA London Bureau was until her death president of African Women's League UK. She is survived by her husband and 2 children. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And may her soul rest in peace. Let's now get some sports stories.
New champions have emerged in the 3-day Swaku Grassroots Tennis Championship aimed at discovering young talents. The event, held at the tennis court of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, featured various age categories ranging from ages 10 to 18 for both girls and boys, with Salvation Alex, Ridwan Sadiq, Mary Felix, Elvis Godwin, Yakubu Miracle, and Musa Mahmoud emerged champions in their various categories.
Approach shots, he plays really good, but I stayed on my game throughout and held on through the rallies.
Where we help young athletes across Nigeria, the world basically.
To football, the Abuja All-Stars Veterans Football Tournament played at the main bowl of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium saw 6 matches decided Saturday as Ocean 11 drew 2-2 against All-Stars International Football Club. NMPC drew 1-1 against Nuruddin Veterans, with Gwagwalada All-Stars going all out in a commanding 2-1 victory against USF FC. Citygate FC was unable to break through after a strong resistance from CKSC, which ended 1-0. In other results, Team Vera Gold saw a shocking, humiliating defeat in the hands of ex-internationals, which led to a 7-1 dominance. Games Village FC and Capital City Club encounter ended in a 1-1 draw, after both sides lost several scoring opportunities.
We first half, second half we improved. We scored 2 goals and we get back the 2 goals again. Our opponent have only 2 goals, 2 shot on targets, and they score. It's unfortunate, but it's okay.
And finally, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has honored former Super Falcons captain Onome Ebi for her remarkable legacy and record-breaking achievements at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON. Ebi, a towering figure and an icon in African women's football, made history by featuring in 7 editions of the continental tournament, more than any other player in WAFCON history. In a glowing tribute published on its official website, CAF praised the 41-year-old central defender for her unparalleled longevity, leadership and influence on the African game. Ebi featured in the 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016, 2018 and 2020 editions of WAFCON and helped Nigeria to 4 title wins. With Sport Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA Sports.
And Sports Update concludes nationwide. From me, Dennis Adigunloy, and all of us, thanks for watching and have a great week ahead.